It's been years and people still don't understand Surrey. They don't get it. So let me explain it. Since the dawn of Vancouver real estate, the way things have been priced here is that downtown Vancouver was the benchmark for pricing. That was, aside from a few exceptions, that was your most expensive area. And then the further east you got away from downtown Vancouver, the more expensive things got. And then this little place called Brentwood came out of nowhere. And Brentwood broke this trend and kind of created its own little, it almost became a benchmark of pricing where Brentwood is more expensive than a lot of areas in Vancouver. And it's more expensive than a lot of the areas in downtown Vancouver now. And obviously not pre-sale product. And that's because anything pre-sale that launches in Vancouver is a luxury product. But the newish condos in Brentwood are more expensive than a lot of the newer product that you see in and around Vancouver. And now you see Brentwood has almost become a benchmark price for like, okay, if Brentwood's this expensive, then Burquitlam should be this expensive. And people almost base their prices off of Brentwood now as opposed to downtown Vancouver. So it's basically decoupled itself from the way the pricing dynamic has always worked. And the next decoupling that's going to happen is going to be Surrey Central. Now, in the last video, somebody said that I look stupid wearing a hat. So how do I look today? Pretty sick, right? Looking pretty dope. So you're going to see towers start launching in Surrey Central that are priced higher than Coquitlam and Port Coquitlam. And we've actually already seen pricing in Surrey Central surpassed launches in New West. And that may not be the case right now, but that was the case in 2022. Because the stigma behind Surrey Central is far less than what it used to be. And I think as time goes on, that stigma is going to become less and less and less until maybe eventually one day it's completely gone. As we speak right now, you're already starting to see pre-sale launches in Surrey Central that are demanding a higher price or a premium price just based on which block the project is located on. And that's a dynamic that you typically don't see unless you're talking about a large metropolitan downtown area. Like this is the case in Vancouver. This is the case in Toronto. This is the case in New York. And I'm willing to bet this is the case in almost any large downtown metropolitan area, right? Like the price of one condo building can be completely different from the price of another that's 2 or 3 blocks down the road. And that doesn't happen in smaller suburban cities. This only happens when a city starts to mature and starts to get that downtown metropolitan type of feel to it. So Surrey's starting to turn into that. This is the early days of that. So as we speak right now, there are 43,000 units approved at the city of Surrey to be built. Now, only a certain percentage of these will actually end up being built, but regardless, that's a lot of units in the pipeline. And even if just a fraction of those get built, that's, again, a lot of units. That much product is not only going to have the potential to house probably close to 80,000 new residents, it's also going to completely change the feel of this core. And what's been missing from Surrey Central that would bring it to the point where it is fully mature is things to do. It's missing trendy restaurants and cafes, things for people to do and places to go. And it also needs commercial towers that employ high-paying white-collar jobs, which are definitely coming. I already know of, I'm not going to say the name, but I already know of a super trendy cafe in downtown Vancouver that's in talks with a developer to open up a new location in Surrey Central. They have an entire pocket of downtown Surrey Central called the Business District. They didn't name it that for no reason at all. The reason why they named it that is because they intend to build commercial towers there that are going to employ higher paid white collar jobs. Surrey's going to be the Oakland to San Francisco. It's going to be the Brooklyn to Manhattan. There's so many of these large American cities that have another large major city within an hour away from it. And that is going to be Surrey to Vancouver. We have the chance to make Surrey better than Vancouver. And I know that literally offends people for some reason, but we get a chance to basically build a new downtown from the ground up, working with a completely blank canvas, being able to leverage all of the experience that we gained building downtown and redo things better this time. The fact the streets are super narrow in Vancouver, the highway is located like 30 minutes away from downtown Vancouver. Like downtown is the pretty much only metropolitan city where the highway doesn't go right into the downtown core. You have to get off at First Ave and then drive 30 minutes through traffic to get to downtown Vancouver. The services are old, and pretty much all the high rises are like plain Jane gray concrete rectangles in the sky. And we get to make all that better this time. We get wider roads, newer services, even the architecture that we're using when we build these new projects is a lot more modern and, appealing to look at. We have amenities built into these high rises, so people don't even have to really leave their home anymore and walk around the city as much. They're going to be pretty much communities, within a community. And we have way more land mass to actually work with. Like, Surrey is a massive, massive chunk of land. The people who are still hating on Surrey are missing the bigger picture right now. Yes, there's a lot of inventory in Surrey Central. Yes, there's probably more pain to come there. But looking 8+ years out, let me suggest an idea here, right? So when you buy a stock, the question shouldn't be, is the price going to be higher in 5 years? Because the price is dictated on what the market is doing, right? You have zero control over the price as an investor. So a better question to ask is usually, is this company going to be better 5 years from now? Are their revenues going to be higher? Is their brand going to be bigger? Are they going to continue to innovate? Because if the answer to that question is yes, and the price is still low or flat or hasn't moved, well, then you should be buying more, because at some point the market is going to catch on to this and bid up the price. So let me ask you this. Is Surrey Central going to be a better city in 10 years, or is it going to be worse? And I think the obvious answer, with population expected to surpass Vancouver's by 2029, 43,000 units in the pipeline, I think the answer to that question is yes. And currently today, you're picking up A-grade units, 500 square foot plus floor plans with underground parking on the 30th floor, concrete, built by some of the best developers in the continent. And these are selling for like 470,000. 470,000 Canadian dollars, which is basically $5 in USD. So if you think long-term, I think that's cheap. I have a newsletter where I cover market insights and stuff just like this. I also send out hand-picked deals. Join using the link below. Call me if you're interested in chatting about buying or selling. I'm that Agent Kelly, and I'm making moves to move you. Peace.